Hey guys, this is Mr. Grice for Algebra 2 Unit 0.4 review. Let's go ahead and get started. It's asking us to graph the following inequalities. The first one is saying x is less than or equal to 2. So just remember, when it is less than, we shade to the left. And so we do a closed circle at 2, and we shade everything to the left. Our next one, x is less than or equal to -4. So there's x is less than or equal to -4, or x is greater than 0. We've got an open circle, and we're shading to the right. For number 3, this is an and inequality. We have a closed circle at -5 and an open circle at 4. And if you forget which way to shade, just rewrite it. We have x is greater than or equal to -5. That's our first one. And then x is less than 4. So here we're going to shade everything in the middle. Okay, for number 4, x is less than or equal to -2. Or x is less than 1. So for that one's a special case and everything's going to the left. That happens from time to time. Okay. Number 5, we have x is greater than -2.5. So at -2.5, we need to have a closed circle. And then at 3, +3, we need to have a closed circle. And once again, it's everything in the middle. All right, number 6. X is less than 2, so I'm at 2. I shade everything that is less than 2. But then we have x is greater than or equal to -1, and then we shade everything to the right. And this one's a special case where it would be infinite solutions. Okay. Let's go ahead and work down here. We have to solve the inequality, write the solution on the line, then graph. Okay, so let's go ahead and draw the line down the inequality so we can see both sides. And remember, we're following the rules of SADMAP. So I'm going to subtract 4 to each side. We have -5x is greater than or equal to 20. And then to get the x by itself, I have to divide, and I'm dividing by a -5. When we divide by a negative, we have to flip the inequality symbol. And so 20 divided by -5 is -4. So our solution is x is less than or equal to -4. When I graph this, I'm just going to go to -4. I'm closed, and I shade to the left. And just remember that you need to be drawing your arrow. All right, number 8. Same thing. First we're going to do is draw the line down the middle. I see I've parentheses, so I need to distribute. I have -8. 3 times x is 3x. 3 times 2 is 6. Is less than 4x minus 2. I need to combine like terms on the left side, so we have 3x minus 2 is less than 4x minus 2. I'm going to move the smaller variable. I have -2 is less than x minus 2. Just following SADMAP, I'm adding 2 to both sides, and I get 0 is less than x. And the only thing that's wrong with that, or x, yeah, 0 is less than x, is the x is in first, okay? We have to rewrite that. So we would say that x is greater than 0. And let's make that look like a 0 and not a 6. Okay, so at 0, I am open, and I'm shading everything to the right because it is greater than. Okay, number 9. Once again, the first thing that we need to do is to distribute. So on the left side, 9x plus 24 minus 7 is greater than 14x plus 2 minus 5. I need to combine like terms on both sides. So we get 9x plus, oh, not 18, Mr. Grice, it's 17. Okay, 9x plus 17 is greater than 14x minus 3. Okay, and now I need to get the variable to one side. So I'm going to get the variable over here. And then we've got 17 is greater than 5x minus 3. And why don't we see if you guys can solve it from here. Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, and after you solve and rewrite it, you should get x is less than 4. Excuse me. So at 4, I am open, and since it's less than, I'm going to shade everything to the left. And there we go. All right, number 10. Now, don't get freaked out with number 10. All right, they're just two separate inequalities that we have to solve for, okay? So we're going to treat them both differently. I'm going to subtract 1 to both sides. I get 5x is greater than or equal to negative 5. Divide both sides by 5. And we get x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, now I've got the one on the right. Subtracting 1 to both sides. I get negative 3x is greater than or equal to 9. Divide both sides by negative 3, and ooh, what am I dividing by? That's right, I'm dividing by negative, so I have to flip that sign, and then we get x is less than or equal to negative 3. Now, when I write my solution over here, we need to remember that we need to put them in order from least to greatest. So that's why I'm writing x is less than or equal to negative 3, excuse me, or x is greater than or equal to negative 1. Okay, so at negative 3, I am closed, and I'm shading everything to the left. At 1, I am closed, and I'm shading everything to the right. All right, number 11. Why don't you see if you can do this by yourself? Go ahead and pause the video, do both, and graph. Good luck. Okay, so you should have gotten x is greater than negative 2, so I'm getting ready to graph that right now. Greater than, and I'm shading everything to the right. And x is less than or equal to 5. That part's shaded in already. But as I'm going to the left, we end up shading in that negative 2 as well. Okay? All right, number 12. Looking at that first one, be careful about that negative x, okay? Don't forget about it. Because it's negative x is less than 1, because 9 minus 8 is 1. But then I have to divide by negative 1, and I get x negative 1, and I divided by, that's right, you divided by negative, so you have to flip the sign. Okay, for the other side, I have to multiply by the reciprocal to get the x cancel out, okay? When you multiply by the reciprocal, it's not negative, so I'm not multiplying by negative, so I do not flip the sign. So I'm just going to multiply straight across. 2 times 10 is 20. 5 times 1 is 5, and then 20 divided by 5 is 4. Okay, so our solution is x is greater than -1, or x is greater than 4. So at -1, I am open, and I'm shading everything to the right. And there's my 4. It's actually closed now because our first inequality shaded that in, and it's to the right. Okay, couple more. 13. For 13, we just draw the lines down the middle and start solving. Find your x. I'm going to subtract 3 to all sides. -7 minus 3 is -10, is less than 2x, which is less than or equal to 10. To get the x by itself, I'm going to divide all sides by 2. I get -5 is less than x, which is less than or equal to 5. So -5, which is less than x, which is less than or equal to +5. Okay, so I'm open at -5 and I'm closed at +5. And this is an and, so I shade the middle. All right, 14. Okay, I'm going to subtract the 9. And those cancel. We get -28 is less than or equal to -7x, which is less than or equal to -7. Now the x is not by itself, so I'm dividing, and I'm dividing by a negative. So when we divide by negative, I have to remember to flip all the signs, okay? So the x is by itself. -28 divided by -7 is a +4, and -7 divided by -1 is a +1. Now when I get to my solution over here, I need to rewrite it, okay? So I'm going to put it in order. Between the 1 and the x, the inequality is pointing at the 1, and between the x and the 4, the inequality is pointing at the x, okay? So I have 1 less than or equal to x, which is less than or equal to 4. So at 1, I am closed. At 4, I am closed. And then I just shade in the middle. Okay, number 15, last one. Why don't you guys go ahead and see if you can do it all on your own. Go ahead and pause the video, and good luck. Okay, so I had to add 3 to both sides and then multiply by the reciprocal, which is 4/3. And when we do that, we get 0 is less than x, less than or equal to 4. And there's the graph. All right, guys. Well, that's it for this Algebra 2 0.4 review. If you have any questions, please come see Ms. Carranza or myself. We would love to help you out. Just remember that with all these reviews, there's going to be a test soon. Okay? So, good luck. Make sure you study. Come in for help if you need it. This is Mr. Grice signing off. Thanks for watching.